Hi guys, Victoria here, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm bringing you the first travel vlog from Italy. I was traveling to Rome for an event for work, a one-day event, and I flew in the day before, so I had a few days the day before to explore the city. I have been in Rome before one time a few years ago, so I have seen the major sites already. So this time I didn't really have any specific sites or locations that I wanted to see, except for the Fontana di Trevi, the Trevi fountain, just because when I was there a few years ago it was under construction, so I didn't see it in its full glory. So I actually made my way there the first thing after I checked into my hotel and I arrived to Rome, and the fountain was actually very close to where we were staying overnight.
Siamo in arrivo in orario a Roma Termini.
I stayed one night in Rome. I was attending an event, and then the evening after the event I actually took a train to Florence. So Florence vlogs are coming in after this, so if you are interested in these Italian travel vlogs, then make sure to subscribe to my channel and press the bell button so that you will be notified when I upload my upcoming vlog videos as well. So first, when I arrived to the airport in Fiumicino, and I took the train to the city for 14 euros. The train takes around half an hour from the airport. However, to get to the train station at the airport, you have to walk a little bit, which is about 10-15 minutes as well. There are actually two types of trains. The direct train is, as I said, 14 euros, and there is one where you have to change once. It's much cheaper. I believe it's 8 or 8.5 euros. However, of course, it takes longer and you have to switch trains in between. So you have to make sure you buy the correct ticket, because if you buy the wrong ticket, so you buy the cheaper ticket to the direct train, they will make you pay the difference on the train. I believe you can buy a ticket on the train as well, but I don't know if it's more expensive, so I recommend it to do it in the machines outside the train station or at the airport. What I noticed is that the ticket machines at the airport are busier and there is a longer waiting line than the machines at the train station itself, so that's a good tip to ignore the machines at the airport and go directly to the station, because there will be multiple machines there which are less busy. Following the train ride to Roma Termini, which is the main train station, I went to my hotel, left my bag there, and I found the coffee place where I was staying for a few hours, maybe one and a half hours, to do some work, and then after that I went on a walk in the area. So what you are looking at now is basically the area where we were staying, and then I went for a walk waiting for my colleagues to land, because they were flying from a different city, so they arrived a bit later. And then we had lunch with my colleagues, and then after a little bit of work in the afternoon we went on to explore the city a little bit further with my colleagues. So I had just a few hours overall, and we saw some of the major sites. As I mentioned, the Fontana di Trevi was among them. It was very crowded. The weather was perfect for sightseeing, around 20 degrees, and there were a lot of people around, so it was quite challenging to get to the fountain. You can't get directly close to the fountain. There is a whole area in between the fountain and where you can stand. So if you want to throw the coin, that is typical to do in Rome at the fountain, the Fontana di Trevi, then you would have to throw quite far away. So there were a lot of coins just scattered around the fountain rather than inside. I wonder if some people just goes in there sometimes and picks all that money up. And yeah, just exploring the area, checking out the cute little stores, having some coffee, some espresso and ice cream. living the dolce vita, basically. I really enjoyed this one day in the city. I kind of wish I stayed maybe one more day to be able to see some of the other sites, but honestly I have seen the major sites before, so that's why originally when I was planning this trip I didn't want to stay. But there is so much to see, so many little details, so many little shops and just tiny little things that you can discover. Everywhere you look there is something beautiful. The art, the buildings, the art on the buildings, and the food and the lifestyle and the streets. Everything is, I don't know, it gives out this feeling, this dolce vita feeling, or this, like, I cannot even explain. It just makes you feel very calm and good, like positive feelings all over. Just looking at the beauty everywhere, even though of course Rome is crowded, there are so many tourists, and of course a lot of the things are tourist traps and they are created for tourists, but then at the same time this rich history, those buildings with all these elements which you are wondering, like, how did they manage to build such beautiful sturdy things back hundreds and even thousands of years ago that could stand the test of time. And it's just so many fascinating things. The lights as well, these little restaurants, the wine and the plants, the flowers, and you just have to be there and stay in the moment and look around and find the little details and just immerse yourself in this. And it's just like the best feeling when you have nothing else to do. I mean, of course we were there for a work event, but we had these couple of hours when we didn't have to think about work, and it was just the best thing to do. And I'm so glad that we could fly in early in the morning the day before. This is, by the way, the Pantheon, and we didn't go in because both of us with my colleague have been inside before, and there was quite a bit of a queue outside, which I believe was going fast, and the entry is for free, so they just don't let everyone in at the same time and make it safer, so they let the people in, and as people come out and you have to wait a little bit in a queue. Yeah, like one thing that you probably have to deal with is that there is crowds everywhere. As you can see, this is the square in front of the Pantheon, for example. But then you can walk in small streets where there are less people, and you can find some treasures. Like we just passed this church, which was beautiful inside. It had amazing lights and we could take some very beautiful photos. There were no people, or literally just really few people inside, and it was quiet. And what's interesting is that most of the churches, even the famous big ones, except maybe the Vatican, of course you cannot enter the Vatican for free, and you cannot enter the Basilica in Vatican for free, but you can enter most of these other churches for free, and they are so beautiful inside. There is so much art, so many details. You can just sit there, take a break from walking around, and immerse yourself in just the details of these places. It's just so fascinating, and the size, and every little nook and cranny has something interesting within them. And I particularly like the paintings or these frescoes on the walls, but because I'm more of a painting person rather than a sculpture person, whatever floats your boat whatever floats your boat, you can find it here. If you like old places which are more, clearer, the buildings from the outside are more minimalistic in the sense that they are not painted with frescoes all over, and you can find places which are less crowded with people, but then you can find all these places with the fountains and the sculptures. For example, this square is the Piazza Navona, and there is also a church on this square which you really should go into because it's very beautiful inside. From the outside you might not realize how fascinating something inside might be. Then on this square there are also artists who are trying to sell their paintings and different art projects. You can also just sit in one of the restaurants on the square and have a coffee or lunch or a drink and enjoy the atmosphere. This is the church that I was talking about. We entered here as well for free, and it's very beautiful inside, and there is the fountain in front. Once again, many people, but since it's a big square, it didn't feel too bad, and you don't have to fight your way to get close to the fountain, for example, what you actually kind of have to do at the Fontana di Trevi, where everyone wants to take a photo and everyone wants to throw the coin. So you have to wait for your turn and you have to be patient and kind with each other. So this church is the Sant'Agnese church, I believe, and just we were just sitting there a little bit relaxing and looking at these frescoes. I mean, they are so beautiful, and this is actually a 17th century Baroque church. The fresco of the cupola has been painted for over 19 years. We had an official dinner at 8 p.m. booked in a restaurant, so we had to make our way there, and we were trying to check what sites can we see on our way, which way should we go, and we decided to go to check and see the Marcello Theater, just because it is similar to Colosseum. It's like a mini Colosseum, and the Colosseum was a little bit out of our way. We wouldn't have been able to make our way to the Colosseum and then go to the dinner and be on time. And then, all of these little sites that I am recording here are just from the way to the restaurant where we had our dinner. I mean, look at this. This looks so Mediterranean, doesn't look like Rome at all. some places that we discovered which you probably wouldn't if you were just going for the usual sites in Rome, just because we had to make our way and we were walking to this restaurant which was a little bit outside of the center. We saw some beautiful buildings and churches on top of a hill, and just wherever you look, as I said, there is something beautiful to see. Alright guys, this was my little summary from Rome, a one-day trip or a few hours spent in Rome and looking at the beautiful sights of this city. And I am coming in the next few videos from Florence, so tune in for those. I'm looking forward to see you. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know in your comments down below what are the sites that you also decided to see in Rome and what should I not miss next time if I go back, since I threw the coin in the Fontana di Trevi. That's supposed to mean that I'm going back to Rome again, so I'm looking forward to that trip already. And until then, subscribe to my channel, watch my videos, click the like button, and I hope to see you at my next video. Bye bye!